I'm a huge Xbox fan. Well, I guess I was. These days they kind of suck. But it's kind of funny because if it wasn't for a random GameStop employee in late 2006, my entire life of gaming would probably be completely different. Growing up, I had an N64 and then I ended up getting a PS2. So when the PS3 came out, I was completely ready to just upgrade to the PS3. At the time, I'd saved up, a bunch of allowance. Plus, I had a whole bunch of stuff to trade into GameStop. I'm pretty sure it was like a PSP in all my PS2 games and the PS2 itself. So GameStop was going to make a nice killing off me. But I went to the mall late 2006, getting ready to get that PS3, and I was super excited. However, I go in and the GameStop employee, I guess they were out of PS3s. So they're like, hey, we're out of PS3s, you can come back and try and get one another day. But he's like, if it was up to me, I would actually recommend getting the 360. He's like, the early PS3s, they're having these issues, and obviously the PS3 at the time was more expensive. So he's like, honestly, I think you should just get a 360. And I ended up like walking around the mall for a while and thinking about it. And after a bit, I ended up thinking like, oh, it's the GameStop employee. He probably knows best. So I ended up listening to him, which is hilarious because the early 360s had horrible issues where they red ringed all the time. But I ended up deciding to buy that 360. I remember I got the 360 itself and I got Call of Duty 2 at the time and like Perfect Dark Zero. I remember specifically picking that out because I remembered Perfect Dark being fun on the N64. Now, as you might know, Perfect Dark Zero is pretty underwhelming and Call of Duty 2 was fine, but Call of Duty at that point wasn't really my thing, especially because at this time I wasn't playing Xbox Live. I was still just rocking offline games. I ended up also picking up Saints Row like a few weeks later, and that ended up being probably one of my favorite 360 games of all time. And eventually, once I told some of my friends at school that I got a 360, they're like, dude, you gotta get Xbox Live. And once I got Xbox Live, it was a whole new world, and ever since that multiplayer game has become a huge thing for me. But if it wasn't for that random GameStop employee, I don't know if I ever really would have got heavy into online games, because I don't know if I would have bothered with the PS3. I probably would have stuck to, my normal playing sports games and racing games and some of the single player games that PlayStation had. Whereas with the 360, I got super into Gears and Halo and Xbox Live, and I'm definitely very glad that I went down that path because it was an absolute blast. The 360 will forever be my favorite console, but I was like this close to just never owning one.